All right, greetings everybody. This is Compass Games Live. This is actually our 13th broadcast. Hopefully lucky number 13. I think it will be lucky because we have another new pre-order announcement that's going to be coming tonight. So I know it's a Friday night, and I know some of you might have busy plans, so I really appreciate you being flexible. I try to do these broadcasts on Thursday evenings. That seems to work better for a live time, but as far as my own schedule goes, Friday just was the way it needed to be for this week. So appreciate you being here again. What I'll be doing during the broadcast this evening is I will give you a quick update on our schedule. I will then briefly mention, but not too in depth, the 3 new pre-order games that have been announced recently in a few areas online, both on Facebook and on Console World Forum. So I will just gingerly let you know what those 3 titles are in case you've missed it. And we'll actually plan to go more in depth on those pre-order titles during a later broadcast. And then I will also share with you some graphics for another upcoming game that's already on pre-order. I'll be doing that as well. And what we'll do at near the close today, we'll be announcing our new pre-order title that has not yet been, was not mentioned as part of this week's pre-order list, the 3 new titles. So that's basically the plan. And then as always, for those that are on the actual webcast platform, you should see a Q&A button if you're on the Zoom platform to ask your questions. There's also a chat option, so I can actually check both. And thanks, Walter, for joining. I'm glad the picture looks good. The picture quality is better on Zoom, so those that are on Facebook, you'll see a link where you can go to Zoom in case the video feed goes to black and white. Sometimes we have issues with the video feed. But those that are on Facebook, again, just a reminder that I may not see your comments or questions with a lag of about 20 to 30 seconds. But I do want to thank Eric, John, Jason, Eric, also Eric John, who's joined, 2 Erics, Jeff Coyle, and John Sleeper. So we have a good turnout already, and of course, we'll have an edited version, fully edited HD version available. Most likely it'll be tomorrow morning, if not late tonight. So again, I want to thank you for joining us. I'm going to go ahead and, as always, I want to start by sharing my screen just to give you a quick update on where things stand since we last spoke. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. And you should see a screen coming up here in a moment. I know there could be a little bit of a lag, so I won't see it on Facebook. Again, I will be checking for all your questions. I'll get alerted from Zoom, and I'll look for Facebook for any updates there as well. So we should have the product, we should have the homepage, the Compass website now available. And I want to just walk you through some quick updates. I have not yet updated the schedule on the site because there's so many updates that need to happen. I'm going to actually need more time to do that, and I'd rather just briefly walk you through these updates now. And then you'll see I'll have the website update completed tomorrow, Saturday, and you will see basically what I've talked about tonight. You'll see that reflected on the website. So first thing I want to mention is we do have a new release as of this week. So this week we began shipping Lebensraum. So Lebensraum, as you may recall, if you joined us on a previous episode, last 1 or 2 broadcasts, we did mention this product. And as a reminder, this is a new edition of the game that was published back in the 80s by Simulations Canada. Stefan Newberg from Simulations Canada was the designer, of course. And this is more of an expanded edition, covers all of Europe, West and East Front both. And just to let you know, I want to share with you what I'm going to be also uploading. So let me just go here quickly and show you something, which I had forgot to load a certain page that I wanted to load. So let me see if I can do that now for you. So let me just try this real quick. If not, I'll have to just announce it later if I don't have it here for you. So yeah, I don't know if this is going to work. Let me try. I think it's going to work, actually. So let's see. So since we have Lebensraum now released, I want to share with you what we have online. So I'm going to go to the publication list, which you won't have to deal with this at all. This is sort of my back end. But again, I just want to share with you, as of today, although not yet announced, I've gone ahead and posted the online to print. It's a PDF you can view online on your smartphone, or you can download. There's a download option top left. We have the Lebensraum rules. So a few people were asking for the Lebensraum rules, and typically at Compass we'll release the rules online publicly the day of release, which is about now. We started shipping actually just yesterday. And as you can see here, I've also if you ask for rules in advance, I'll send them by a private direct email. So I'm happy to release rules a little early. If somebody's asking me, hey, John, I'd really like to see these rules. I know the game's shipping in a week or two. And yes, I'll be happy to ship this PDF in advance via private email. It's just a standard thing we like to do, is we try to have these rules going out the day that we release the product. So again, I will provide you a link, and this will be publicized on Facebook, on Twitter, on the Console World Forum, I'm sure on Board Game Geek as well. But you can see here, and we have some blue text which has to do with the Western Front. So if you see some blue text, that has to do with the additions to the game, the rules that are specific to the Western Europe theater. So any blue text you see here that I'm scrolling through, and you can see we've got examples of play, etc. There's quite a bit of blue text here. Obviously, the entire section covering Invasion Italy, covering yes, Western Europe. So this is all specific. Campaign in the West, as you can see here. It's all specific to the West Front. So I will get these rules out to everybody. I will get that posted tomorrow, Saturday. So if you'd like to get access to these rules and download them for Lebensraum, I'll be absolutely happy to do that for you. And again, look for that post coming shortly. So again, that's a little bit about Lebensraum, and you can see not too many pages overall. It's a very manageable game, fairly large size. So again, this game's done really well for us already, being now released. It's got a nice, attractive overall map of all new graphics, as you can see here. For all of Europe, a Western Front again being added, and then Eastern Front. So I don't know if I'll be able to get Steph Newbert on for an interview or not. I will try to do my best to see if we can make that happen. But again, overall rules, it's really meant to be a playable game in a single session. So that's a little bit about Lebensraum. And as you can see here, we have more graphics and counters you can also grab on the website. And then I'll be happy to post the rules here as well. On the rules errata and download section, I will add the PDF of the rules as well. So that's not a problem at all. Mounted map, no, this is not. Let me double check that. It's not a mounted map. So that's a great question that Richard Savage is asking. So this is 3 maps. And just to let you know, what we're doing at Compass is nearly 95% of all our single map games from now on, they'll have like the same price point, but they'll be mounted map boards. So again, anything that's a single map game, and this is actually about 3 maps, it's larger size. And if you look at it, Richard, it's a nice big playable game. It's almost like SPI's Operation Typhoon, a nice mini monster, but playable game system covering both fronts. So that might appeal to a lot of people, because obviously there's other titles much more complex, and this is not meant to do that. So no mounted, these are the paper maps that you can use the plexiglass for. So great question from Richard, appreciate the question. And I don't see any other questions right now. So let's go ahead and move forward. Let's go back to our schedule once again. And I want to talk about basically what's going to be coming next. So next up, again, Lebensraum, this will be moved over to the right side under recent releases. Next up will be Paper Wars issue 90. So again, this is, I mentioned this last week, so I won't say too much about it. You'll find it here. If you click on the link from the homepage about issue 90, it takes you here. So it's the new edition of the Road to Baton game by Jack Reen. This appeared in Wargamer issue 44. A lot of you probably have Wargamer. You might have this game already. So obviously it's an updated version of it. So gives us a chance to incorporate all the errata, etc. And fix anything that needs fixing. And there are a few things that needed fixing. So what will be nice is you'll get a nice fresh version of the game. And obviously what I'll do is I will get you maps and counters to look at. As an FYI, as far as ship date for this issue of Paper Wars issue 90, it's going to be shipping in a little less than 2 weeks. So not next week, but the following week, we will have issue 90 of Paper Wars featuring MacArthur, The Road to Baton. That will be shipping week after next. So again, I hope you can get a subscription to Paper Wars. Price point's fantastic. A lot of good content in there. A lot of reviews about other publishers' games. I was just going through the last issue 89 today. And about 75% of the magazine is dedicated to games by other companies. So 3 or 4 other publishers. So that independent streak of having a lot of coverage, it's not just 100% Compass Games. I promise. Look at issue 89. If you have issue 89, which is the current one we just released, you'll see it's 75%. It's other publishers' games getting reviewed. So and then we have for Compass, we do have like bonus counters for Compass games. And we have the game insert as well in issue 89, which was the World War I Italian front game, Burning Mountains. So hope you had a chance to check that out. But again, less than 2 weeks, we'll have that issue out. When we met last time, I had Eric Lee Smith in an interview because we were introducing the very popular Battle Hymn series is now entering into Volume 2 land, and that's Shiloh and Bentonville. And as a reminder about the key additions to this second volume, besides the two battle games being Shiloh and Bentonville, the two big things that are happening is there's an extension map, which is also a standalone map if you don't have Volume 1. If you're just getting Volume 2, I do hope you get Volume 1, by the way, because it's Gettysburg. So really, MP Ridge, so I hope you get it if you don't have it already. But what's going to happen, that's a nice bonus with this second volume, is you'll get a standalone extension map of Gettysburg, and it's going to be a standalone what-if scenario for Gettysburg. But what's the really nice added bonus about Gettysburg with this extension map is if you have Volume 1, you can match it up. You can have it made up with the Gettysburg map, so much the entire theater of the campaign, but now with this what-if scenario down south, which is based on some historical things having played out differently, which Eric Lee Smith was sharing with us. And again, you can watch this broadcast. Just go to our YouTube page, and you'll see under the broadcast 12, the interview with Eric Lee Smith, which is also posted on the Compass Games homepage website. So you can see Eric Lee Smith talk about the bonus map for Gettysburg. So again, as a reminder, it's a standalone bonus map just for that little scenario, but it's much, I think it will be much richer play experience if you can match it up with Volume 1 of Gettysburg. The other big bonus will be, which we're giving hopefully a big thumbs up to once you get it, is Bentonville is going to have a new solitaire system powering it. So if you're getting this game and you want to try the game Solitaire, there will be a dedicated solitaire system being introduced for Bentonville. And as Eric mentioned in his interview that we had recently, if that solitaire system does well, it will then be introduced for future game titles where maybe the battles were more one-sided. So just to be clear, it wasn't the solitaire system that will retrofit back to Gettysburg or P Ridge. It's meant to be for Bentonville specifically. It's really around Bentonville. It's dedicated to that game. And then with a good response, if you like it, we get good feedback on the solitaire system that Eric introduces. When we get to Volume 3 or future volumes, as he mentioned, there's other battles he has in mind that are good candidates for this solitaire system. So again, I think that's going to be, those are the nice bonuses to Volume 2. Again, I would hardly recommend, if you can, get Volume 1 if you don't have it already. It's been universally just really good feedback about it. So I hope you get a chance to do that. And the maps will not, let me say, answered Fredericksburg. Yes, Fredericksburg for sure, Richard. Absolutely. That's okay. That will be a very good solitaire. Yeah, I agree with you about that. Absolutely a good solitaire candidate. So we'll see what you guys think of the solitaire system. And as a reminder, the anticipated release date for Volume 2 is during the second quarter of 2019. So if you think about it, it's less than 9 months away for sure. So, we do try to get our pre-orders out pretty quickly. This one has a little more legs to it. It's going to take, about 9 months, but Eric is adding a lot of new things to it. So that's why, he's been working on it for a while, but he's going to need a few more months before we can get it all ship shape and ready to go. So what I'd like to do now is, I don't see any new questions, so let's switch gears. I want to talk about another pre-order that's been out for a while, which we talked about a few issues ago when Adam Starkweather was one of our guests, and that's the company scale system game Tinian. So you hopefully remember what Tinian is. That's, again, this popular CSS. Montelimar is the most recent game, which I cannot pronounce the French name, so apologies. But again, Montelimar, which is a huge game, 5 maps, I think it was 8 counter sheets. This is going the other direction. This is a much smaller game, and it's more playable in a single sitting, probably a long single sitting. So let's see what we've got here. Notice the product page has the box cover, and what we'll do with our pre-orders, as we have time, as we can add graphics, we will be adding graphics. So I will be adding this map that we see here. Now, this is the Tinian map. So, we've got the other game Saipan and Guam already. So this will look similar to you. Let me zoom in to give you some, again, this is a JPEG. So as I zoom in, the quality is not going to be wonderful, but I want to give you an idea starting from the north here. get an idea what we got: the radio station, the airfields, etc. Again, this is Tinian. So got the Bay area again out to the east. Got the Mountain Hill area, and then Tinian Town, and the Saipan Artillery Parks, etc., etc. So again, just want to unveil to you some new artwork that's coming along for Tinian. Again, a company scale system. And I hope you like what you see. This is a work in progress, obviously, but this is our first chance to be able to show it to you. So again, I will be adding this map as a work in progress to the Tinian product page, which is company scale system. And that's the next thing I need to do. So we had some big news this week. We've got 3 new pre-orders that have already been announced just this week alone. So I need to start going through these. So I'm going to go ahead and do that next. So we've got Combat is the first new pre-order title. So first of all, how to find our pre-orders. If you're on our homepage, which I'm going to now, just as a reminder to keep up, I will obviously, there's a section called recently added to the pre-order list. I'm waiting for the page to load fully. There we go. So we've got recently added to the pre-order list. I might have to redesign this because we have a lot of pre-orders. I've got a new problem. We have a lot of pre-orders coming up, and I'm going to explain to you why that's happening near the end here. But I'm going to have to come up with a new solution because we have a lot of new pre-orders coming, and I would not be able to keep this list down to just 3 titles. We just have 3 new titles this week, and I have another one tonight. So I've got to come up with a new solution for a pre-order list. So again, this will be updated, but again, to find pre-orders, just click on the pre-order tab. And these are default ordered by date. You can see sort by date. And we're going to cover these 3. The 3 topmost are the most current. So we've got the Little Land, a CSS, company scale system. Then we go to the 80s for Folda Gap, again, company scale system, but now the 80s. So 2 new entries. So we just talked about Tinian. Now we've got 2 new pre-orders announced, again, for the same game system, company scale system, on 2 different eras: World War II, Eastern Front, and also the Cold War era, obviously. And then we're gonna go to Combat now. Combat's the 3rd game also that has been announced. So Combat is a new solitaire game system, and I'm going to explain to you. We don't have any images yet, box art, etc. I'm going to explain to you why here in a moment. But it's a new solitaire game, based on 20th century combat. We've got some details here. There's going to be 4. I kid you not. There's going to be 4 full-size game maps for this, to recreate different eras and different battles. So there's a ton of content going into this new pre-order. The designer is Ross Mortel, who's actually done some other designs for us, for Compass as well. So he's well known for us. And this is his new design, a new game system that's solitaire, individual combat system. And we're just actually getting the artwork started. I think next week, the pre-production artwork is going to be starting next week. So let me mention now, since all 3 titles I'm going to go through are going to have no artwork to show, I'm going to explain to you why that is. So typically, obviously, when a publisher has a pre-order, what do you want to do if you're a publisher? It's always nice to have graphics, right? It's like that. It's that sex appeal. You want to, the oohs and ahs of, like we did with Volume 2 of Battle Hymn. Oh, that map's back again, but now it's Shiloh and Bentonville. Awesome. So there's a particular reason why we have a lot of pre-orders that are going to be coming out right now and between now and end of this month. And that is because Compass does a very comprehensive game catalog, and it's released. It's not something that gets updated often when it comes out. It's for the season. It's 3 to 6 months time period that it's going to cover. And a lot of these catalogs get printed, and this catalog, by the way, does extremely well. It really gets the word out, and it's very effective. I know you would think with online ordering that you wouldn't think anything would come from catalogs, but it's absolutely a huge deal for Compass. So what we have is we have a catalog. We have a new catalog coming end of this month. So what does that mean? That means this catalog is going to have to be has to cover a lot of new pre-orders that are going to be available, and that we would normally be announcing in the next 3 to 6 months easy. And unfortunately, with the artists we have and all the very busy schedules, it's a timing question. So the reason we don't have artwork, obviously, is because the catalog is going to start landing on people's doorstep in September, in a few weeks. And you need to have a product page to support pre-orders for all these new titles. So that's why we're going to be doing a lot of pre-order announcement. August, I'm going to proclaim August is the official pre-order month for Compass Games. It's not going to be 3 titles like it was this week. It's not going to be 4 after tonight's announcement. It's not going to be 5, 6, 7, 8. It's going to be a lot more. A lot of stuff is going to happen. So I hope you can join us or watch these recorded broadcasts through the month of August. It's going to be crazy. And I'm going to do my best to keep up with everything. And then, like I said, we will update the pre-order pages over time because we have that catalog going out. So we want to make sure you can order it online, pre-order it. And then, of course, we will add graphics to the pre-order pages, not a problem at all. So, of course, we will be adding graphics as we go. But I hope that explanation makes sense to why, why would a publisher not have any photos? I know Kev Sharp was asking, gosh, not as effective as, and yeah, I totally agree. We totally understand that. But, the catalog is huge for us, and we want to make sure you can find these games on the website. And, of course, we're going to provide you all the graphics and all the updates we can, and that's why I'm here. I'm here to give you those updates, just like I did for Tinian, and then we'll be adding it to the website. So Combat's a brand new system we're really excited about. A lot of maps, a lot of different situations. Please check it out. A lot more details, and, again, artwork starting next week. The next one is we go Eastern Front. Again, Eastern Front for company scale system. No, you're not going to make me pronounce. You're not going to make me pronounce the battle. Okay, there's no way I'm doing it. I cannot do it. So I'm not going to say it other than it's an Eastern Front title near the Black Sea. That's my workaround. Okay, is that fair enough for you guys? So again, this is going to be, I believe, a 2-mapper, 2 full maps, 6 counter sheets. Not going to be, a huge monster, but an interesting battle at the company scale system. Please check it out. And of course, we'll have more details about it. Again, this one's from Adam Starkweather. The last one's from Ross Martell. And then we have another pre-order. Again, company scale system, but we are now going from the 40s, World War II. Now we're going to the 80s, Eastern Europe again. And we're going to have a battle here, Fulda Gap, but as a company scale. At the company scale, focusing on the area that the 11th Cavalry Regiment would be guarding, the famed Black Horse Regiment in the Fulda Gap. So there will be additional games coming in this series. Again, this is the first of many. And I'm sure a lot of you are just spinning your heads right now saying, I cannot keep up with all the NATO era games that publishers are coming out with. There's way too many. I can't take it anymore. But you will take it because you like the company scale system. And we know you've been asking for, I wish you could do this for NATO Warsaw Pact. So yes, we're going to do it for NATO Warsaw Pact. So please check out this pre-order page. And again, this one's got 4 maps. We're not messing around here. Adam's getting a little serious here, going a little crazy. It is 500 meters per hex, so you need some maps for the Fulda Gap for this area, right? So that's the first one. Of course, we'll have future games, as mentioned here, will be Hof Gap, the German Northern Plains Defense, and the Last Stand at Berlin. So there is a master plan behind all of this. And I'm sorry, Richard Savage just asked me, who's the designer for Combat? That's Ross Martell. He did, I believe, I want to say he did a company scale system design, 1 or 2. I just don't have the title in front of me right now, but Ross has done some work with Adam Starkweather, and Ross is doing Combat. And Adam Starkweather, by the way, is working with Adam, and also Ken Dingley is involved in that project. So, and I know the graphics are going to be really good. I'm really looking forward to the graphics. They're going to be really great. So tactical level, it's going to be wonderful. So let me check Facebook. Gosh, I hope Facebook's updating for me. I don't see any new questions right now. Nice to see Art Lupinacci here. He had this little game. Do you remember this thing? This little thing that we sold 1 or 2 units of, Russia Besieged recently, deluxe edition. I'm joking, Art, because we sold a boatload of Russia Besieged. So Eastern Front is here to stay, and it sells like hotcakes. So please check out Russia Besieged. We released it last month. The rules are online as well. And wow, we sold a lot. I've talked to Bill Thomas at Compass. We've sold a lot of Russia Besieged. So Art, thumbs up, Art, on a tremendous job with that new edition of your game, and people are really enjoying it. All right, so we've covered a lot of stuff, right? So what have we covered today so far? We've covered the release, our recent release we've had on the homepage of Lebensraum. I'm going to be posting the rules tomorrow, right? That's one. That's number 1. Number 2 is Paper Wars. I hope to God you guys are Paper Wars subscribers, because it's pretty cool to get the game. but we also have those bonus replacement counters that we always try to get in there whenever we can. And I actually read through the bonus material. It was one page dedicated to what all those bonus counters were for, and that was pretty cool. So again, Paper Wars is going to be shipping week after next, issue 90, MacArthur. We talked about that. One thing I almost forgot that I want to mention was Commands and Colors, Tricorn Expansion 1. So I don't want to forget that. That one is shipping. You know what? Now that I think about it, this one is shipping in the next 2 weeks for sure. Paper Wars, I might have to check that. Paper Wars might be more than 2 weeks. So this is the one. For those that are familiar with Command and Colors from Richard Borg, this is actually the title that is going to be shipping week after next. So I got official word on that today. So I may have got that confused with Paper Wars. Paper Wars, I think, is actually going to follow Tricorn expansion. So let me do some errata to this broadcast, and let me say that our next release is actually going to be Commands and Colors Tricorn expansion, the French and more. So this will be our next release, and this will jockey up in position ahead of Paper Wars, and Paper Wars will follow. So you've still got 2 or 3 weeks time to subscribe to Paper Wars to get the next issue. So my bad for almost forgetting to mention that, but I want to get the date right. So again, those that play Commands and Colors, you're going to get some more love your way. All right, so we've now covered, that was important to cover that. So we've got a lot going on. We've got Paper Wars, we've got Commands and Colors. That's happening in the next 2 to 4 weeks. So we've got that straight. And again, the schedule will be updated. I don't know what I'm going to do about pre-order lists, because there's a lot of pre-orders coming between now and end of the month, because again, we're prepping the catalog and the website for the catalog, and there's a lot of stuff that's going to be coming now. So I'm going to try to figure something out for all the pre-orders that are going to be added. So just make sure you go to the pre-orders page, and they'll always be listed in order. So without further ado, I'd like to make the official unveil of the new pre-order title for tonight. So what I'm going to do here is I need to log into our website backend system, because this page has been hidden from all of you. I'm trying to be sneaky and not let you see. I'm not letting you see this before I announce it. I'm being very mean to you. So we're going to go ahead and make that available now, and then we're going to unveil it. So let me go to this page now and enable the page, and we'll get started. So I'm just doing that now, and just got one more thing to do here. And what we're now going to do, which makes it more fun, is we're going to be, I'm going to stop sharing here actually. We're going to be welcoming somebody here to join us to help us do the announcement. John, I need your help. This is John Butterfield. In the flesh,
you hear me?
Right? In the flesh or on the screen, pixelated. Not look great in HD, by the way, John. And where are you joining us from tonight? Welcome to Compass Games Live.
Thanks, John. Good to talk to you again. I'm in Fremont, California. Moved here about 5 years ago.
Hope the weather's good today.
Yeah.
Hope there's no rain. Wonderful. So the reason I have you here is for something very special. So we are going to do a new pre-order announcement. I'm not sharing my screen right now, so they don't know what it is unless they're being sneaky and going to their browser and loading the page again. So I'm probably going to have to do that now. I just wanted to introduce you real quick. And what we're going to do now is we're going to introduce the new game series. So I'm going to share my screen again, because I know how sneaky everybody is. So let me go ahead and share my screen, and then we're going to go to that page, and we'll find out what all the fuss is going to be about. So bear with me while I reload the pre-order page, and then we'll unveil the new game for tonight. And drum roll, please, right? We have something called the World War II Commander series, and I see the title Battle of the Bulge. So I'm going to ask you, John, World War II Commander sounds like a series, and what does that mean exactly?
Yeah, well, World War II Commander, that series is the board game version of the games that I and Mark Herman and Ted Racier designed for Shenandoah Studios. Those were iPad games that came out a few years ago. The first one was Battle of the Bulge. The second one was Desert Fox, the Battle of El Alamein. And the third one was the Battle for Moscow. Those were by Mark Herman and Ted Racier, respectively. I designed Battle of the Bulge. That was the first in the series. So we're going to be bringing this out, second quarter of next year, I think is the plan. The game is a very elegant, streamlined war game that would be a great introduction to get Eurogamers into wargaming. Again, the iPad app was based on the same design. Right. A few years back, my friend James Terry and I wanted to do a board game for the iPhone, so we came up with this concept, and then I completed the design. And at the same time, our friend Eric Lee Smith was starting Shenandoah Studios and was looking for his first title for their launch. And so he asked me if they could use the Battle of the Bulge board game and make the iPad version of that. And so that's what happened.
By the way, I'm actually showing from Steam Network. I'm showing the original iPad. And I think this is important to say. I want to make sure I got this right, John. So correct me if I'm wrong. You actually worked on a paper-based tabletop game of Bulge first, but then it got licensed for digital after that. Is that correct, or am I wrong?
That's right. We designed the paper version of the game, and thinking that we put things in it, though, that would make it a great iOS game, a great touchpad game. So it was a perfect fit for what Shenandoah Studios wanted to do. So since then, it was pretty successful, and now it's on Steam and a couple other platforms as well. Yeah. But I wanted to go back and revisit the board game, make a few changes to make it even more accessible as a board game, and that's what Compass is publishing now.
Absolutely. So I've showed the map earlier. So just to pull the map up, now that I've showed it on the Steam page, as far as what the app looked like, I think you can see some similarities here, everybody, on screen. It might be a little bit of an eye chart given the resolution, but you can get an idea with the map, and we've got areas here. And then when we go back to the product page and the map here, it's basically, I don't think the map changed all that much as far as the area. Is that correct, John?
Oh, yeah, it's identical in terms of the areas and the road network and the terrain analysis. Again, some changes to facilitate board game play as opposed to iPad touch play. Right. It's a division level recreation of the battle. I wanted to see, after doing a game like Enemy Action Ardennes, how simple I could make a game on the Battle of the Bulge and still capture the essence of that battle and create a system that could then be used for other World War II battles.
Right. I don't want to do the wrong thing to say. It would be wrong for me to suggest this is like taking the iPad game and converting it, because it really started with the paper design. But I do have to say, I do want to at least say this and offer this up. The iPad version was really addictive because you weren't struggling with rules. You were trying to beat the AI or maybe two-player hot seat mode. It was addictive. There weren't rules in the way. There weren't rules separating you from enjoying how tense the game was with the activations, the way the activations alternate, and deciding which ones are going to activate and what you're going to do. It's always a tough decision, and it's different for the Germans and the Americans. And I think you made people's blood pressure go up because you have victories you get checked at different times during the game. You're being very nasty to people's health. So hopefully everybody's jogging before they play the game, because you're giving them high blood pressure situations. I think this rate's high on the blood pressure scale. If I would add that to the back of the box, is that about right?
Well, that would be an interesting selling point. Thanks, John. Yeah.
Now about I know the support Compass is giving to you. We're really trying to approach this to satisfy two groups or two audiences. One being the grognard, the avid Bulge gamer, war gamer, typical war gamer, hex-based war gamer, but also maybe the crossover player that's maybe done some stuff with Euro games. What I think this would be the ultimate title to me. If I wasn't to have anybody who's never played a war game before, and they met me and they found out what I did, what I enjoyed, and I was going to have to introduce them to a game, and I found out, World War II is okay for them, I would pull out this Bulge game as their first experience, I think.
Well, thanks for making that point, because, for the war gamer, it captures all the things you love about the Bulge. It's got German commandos. It's got out of fuel rules. It's got the artillery problems the Germans had. It's got the American elite airborne units. It's got the British and the restrictions on them. It's all in there, but we're pretty proud of the way it's all handled in a very streamlined fashion, so much so that I do think it's a game that a Eurogamer might get into. And one of the reasons for that is that every turn is just kind of activating a single area. So you don't have to, move everything you have. You don't have to think about every piece you have in order to take your turn. You focus on one area at a time. And that also kind of ratchets up the tension because you're trying to guess what area are they going to deal with next, your opponent, and how am I going to sequence what I do to take advantage of the situation.
Absolutely. And then as far as the production value, I want to show the counters just for a second. I do want to talk about how we're releasing this game. So also as a way to appeal to, the one that wants a really nice game package, sort of a Euro flavor to it. And again, this is a single map design. I believe the measurements are 25 by 22 inches. I think I confirmed that today. So
yeah, and the counters are almost an inch square.
Exactly. So that's exactly why I want to talk about this. I want everybody to know this is going to be an interesting release in terms of quality because it's really a step up in terms of how it's being put together. It's a mounted map board. So it's a mounted single map board, which, people are getting a few games like that now and then. We're going to do that in the future for our one mappers, with very few exceptions. But these counters right here, actually, we're not showing the die cut, but these are the very nice counters that have they already have the rounded corners to them, guys. So you're not going to pull out your tweezers or your Portland that thing from Portland Laminator Company to clip the counter edges, the dog ears off. These have the nice rounded bended corners to them, and they're 3/4 inch in size. So these, squarish looking counters, and then of course we have some round counters here as well for out of supply and other statuses as well. So these are 3/4 inch size counters. So that's pretty darn good, I think. And also there's other components. So besides that, you mentioned, John, there's the activation that takes place during the game. So we do have some other components in the game that maybe you can touch upon. What in the world are these activation cubes? What's that all about? What are these wooden control discs all about? Maybe you can explain those.
Yeah, well, the game is played in days, one day each day of the battle. But during the course of the day, you take turns activating units. And as you activate them, you put these little plastic cubes on the units to keep track of what you've activated and what you haven't. And then at the end of the day, you reset. So this is a simple way to mark what's happened over the course of the day. And then we have some little wooden control markers to mark the areas that the Germans have taken control of. And so that grows over the course of the game until the initiative shifts and the Allies start counterattacking. And then it starts to shrink if the Allies are doing their job.
Right. And then I know we have the full game that's offered, but also just to let everybody know, I believe you can play the intro scenario could probably be played in less than an hour. Would that be about right?
Oh, definitely. Yeah. The 3-day intro scenario can be played in about 45 minutes. The full game takes 2.5 hours, 2.5 to 3 hours. So it's definitely a single sitting game. Yeah.
I think it would make for a great tournament game. Like I know WBC has tons of tournaments, but I think if I was at a convention, I'd love to have a tournament around this Bulge game. I think this would be a really interesting title. It's going to be a lot of fun. And of course, being a Butterfield design and again, all the work you've done on it in the past years, I know we're going to do our utmost to make this production quality of the game shine as best we can. And it's going to have displays and fully illustrated rules as always. And, we're going to definitely try to support the game the best we can. Could you mention again for everybody, since this is the first game in this series, could you mention what you see as the next few titles in the series for everybody again? What will be coming in the World War II?
Well, I'm not sure of the order, but the next two will be the Battle for Moscow that Ted Brasier designed, and the Battle for El Alamein. I think its iOS title was Desert Fox. I'm not sure if that's going to be retained or not.
Okay.
And then there's also a fourth game because when Shenandoah was still active, I designed a fourth game in the series on paper. It was a paper game on Operation Market Garden. And so we'll be producing that as well as the fourth title in the series.
Great. And then
Yeah.
I do want to give a shout out. I want to give props to our play testers we've had. You know, we've been running this project site, and we've been getting people involved. If you remember, John, I even hosted a live session, a live playtest session for you with one of the playtesters.
Yeah, the testers have been awesome. They really focused and gave us a lot of great feedback, not only on the gameplay but also on the balance and the rules writing. Yeah, and then Andy, Mally, and I played a game live,
right,
over this app, right, over Zoom, right?
Exactly. Yeah, over the same. Yeah, right here on the Zoom platform, we did a play test for about 2 hours, and I got to watch and marvel at the interaction you two had. So, and that's really meant for everybody to know. You know, it's really important to us at Compass, or any project I'm working on for sure, that we have people that really are dedicated to whatever's being worked on, that have a passion for it. And you know, of course, John's been great. Listen to the playtester feedback, and you know, where things fit, you know, we can definitely consider them for the actual game. And there are a few things we did. So things came along well, but also I think it's important part of play testing is to, you know, test the balance of things out. So it was good that we had, you know, 4 or 5 different groups that were playing the game, and we did do it in a 2-player mode. That's probably the last thing I want to mention, John, is this is really designed, and I think that's somewhat separate if you think about the iPad version, because obviously iPad, there's an easy way to play it solitaire, but this is really designed, if I'm not mistaken, as a 2-player game. Would that be correct?
Entirely as a 2-player game, yes.
Exactly. So,
Yes.
so the way, so I think the way I market this, it's definitely a 2-player game, but we say, yes, there's some suitability for us. If you want to play it alone, both sides, there's no hidden units, you know, there's no hidden limited intelligence or anything like that. But obviously this is really meant to shine as a 2-player cutthroat, high blood pressure situation, right?
That's right. Absolutely.
Okay,
yeah.
Great. Well, thank you. I want to thank you, John. Let me see if anybody has any questions for John. But before I let you go, I'm going to ask you about one other project, because people will skin me alive if I don't ask you about the Enemy Action series. So that's obviously, you've got designs from multiple publishers. I know we did Ardennes, Enemy Actions Ardennes, but I do want to survive and live a full life. So I need to ask you what's happening, or what would you like to share with us tonight about the Enemy Action series?
Yes, well, I'm right in the middle of working on Enemy Action Kharkov, which is about the third Battle of Kharkov on the Eastern Front. That's the one where the Soviets launched Operation Star and Operation Gallop, and were breaking through, and then von Manstein executed his famous backhand blow. So it's that particular Battle of Kharkov. I know there are several. And the game follows the same mold as Enemy Action Ardennes, in that there's a 2-player version, which the testing is pretty much completed on. We're doing balance testing now on that. And then there's a German solo version with the Soviets coming at you, and that one is just starting testing. The design is complete. And I'm working on finalizing the design for the Soviet solo version, and that'll start testing around the new year. And we hope to publish by the end of 2019. So it's a little different, you know. Enemy Action Ardennes, there's so many special rules in BULGE games to take account for the terrain and all, but this is just pretty much an open field, slug it out type of thing, and so having a lot of fun with it.
Oh, well, thank you. I want to thank you again, and I don't see any questions right now. Obviously, are there more Enemy Action games in the works, is the question, besides what you've mentioned, or anything stewing in your head that hasn't landed on a table yet as far as a project?
Well, since the Enemy Action games are 3-in-1,
it's a lot of effort.
I mean, they take like 3 years to do. So, yeah.
Is it like a 2-year project, would you say? Is it fair to say it's 2 to 3 years to see it through on a...
Yeah, definitely.
So
Enemy Action Ardennes was published in 2015, and this one will be 2019 by the time it's done.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think we're going to get, I think Martin Svensson was asking you that question. I think, Martin, we're going to give John a pass on that, because it's 3 to 4 years per release. But maybe if he wants to politic or do any charitable donations to you to make sure the next title is going to be what he wants, since it's taking...
Yeah, well, does he have a preference? Does he have a battle in mind?
Let's ask everybody. So Martin started this. So those that know Enemy Actions, let's see, there'll be a little bit of a delay on Facebook, but I'll open it up for everybody who's on Zoom. You can use chat or Q&A window. or those on Facebook, is there a particular theater battle you'd be interested in seeing John conquer next? And again, it takes 3 to 4 years per title, so let's see if anybody responds with any ideas. So I'm just going to hold for, there's going to be a bit of a delay here, but let me see if anybody throws in.
Well, I see a comment.
Stalingrad just came in on Facebook from Jonathan Nuestra. He said he's likes to suggest Stalingrad to you.
That's interesting.
Stalingrad, Richard Savage. Oh my God, this will be a big game. Holy smoke. Okay, maybe a portion of Kursk.
Kursk? Well, everyone's staying on the Eastern Front. That's interesting. Stalingrad is yeah.
Eric Farrago is asking, what about
that? Would take a lot of interesting city fight rules.
So now we've got this is a wild one. We've got Japan versus the Soviets from Eric Farrago.
You mean?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
Like where? In Vladivostok?
What battle would that be?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I will have to learn about that battle.
Wasn't there 37? Wasn't there a battle in 37? I forgot the name. There were 2 or 3 designs. There was an S&T issue done. Oh gosh, there was a battle. I thought
Calican Go.
No, that was China. Was that China and Russia? That was China and Russia. I don't think that was Japanese. I can't remember. Oh, Gazala. Gazala now's come up. Kalkan Gol. Thank you, Red. That's right. That's one I was trying to think of as Kalkan Gol. So.
Well, you're stretching the limits of my military history knowledge right there.
I would suggest Game of Thrones. I'm just kidding. No. Okay. All righty. Well, we're going to let everybody keep thinking about that. Oh, Sicily. That's an interesting one. Oh, Sicily. I love Sicily. I gotta admit, I have a soft spot for Sicily because I like the old S&T game that was done back in the day on Sicily. That was done based on like the Typhoon Western.
That might be easier to do the AI side for because the units can't wander too far. They're kind of stuck on the island.
Stuck going up the coastline and.
That's right.
That'd be tough.
Go up the middle or up the coastline.
Yeah. Okay. I think we're gonna have. Oh, Anzio. Okay, Anzio came through. Cobra. See, these guys are thinking. See, now I can't stop.
Yeah.
Now they're guys. We only get one every 4 years. You got to really think this through. So we're gonna give them more time to really think about it. We'll hopefully see you at the Consum World Expo and other events, so we can all make our pleas and make the necessary donations to figure it all out.
Yeah, I hope to make a Consum World next year. Yeah.
Oh, it'll be great to have you next year. We'll be in June again. I'd love to have you down there and with all you're doing. So again, John, I want to thank you for assisting me because they hate it when they're just stuck with me for these broadcasts. It's very boring, tedious. So thanks for.
Well, you're better looking.
More properly introduce a brand new game series, which Compass will be supporting with BULGE. And is now on the pre-order, so I'll be getting the necessary announcements out between now and next week. And we're absolutely excited about it. We're just wrapping up final artwork. We hope to get it to the printers actually next month. So we're working very studiously to get it all wrapped up. So again, really excited to have you here tonight. And it's a pleasure to have you here.
All right. Thank you, John.
All righty. I'm going to let you go if you'd like. So thank you again for joining us, John.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right.
So that was wonderful having John Butterfield, and I hope you're excited, everybody, about what this series will be. It's really meant to be a really quick, perfect for like game club play, something just really quick, 2-player. It's going to be wonderful. So with that, I just want to close just on one final note, a reminder. Again, we'll be doing a broadcast next week, and the rest of this month, I hope if you have any time to join us live or watch the recorded session. We're going to see a lot of pre-order announcements between now and end of the month. So I hope you're excited to see what we have coming in the weeks ahead, what we'll be announcing ahead in advance of the catalog that's going to be start going out in September, I believe. I do want to give a shout out about our Compass Games Expo event. That's November 9th through the 12th. And again, we're up to 70. We're now up to 70 people, I believe. It's again, it's Veterans Day weekend in Connecticut, Cromwell, Connecticut. At the Red Line was formerly, the hotel name recently changed. So it was the Radisson. Now it's the Red Line Hotel. Same location, wonderful location, indoor pool. But we are doing very well. We're up to 70 attendees as of today. which is really exciting news. You can play any games you want. For those that are on the East Coast, we're very close by you. If you know anybody on the East Coast, wonderful 3-day weekend of gaming. You can play whatever games you want from any publisher, any games at all. We've got the attendee list here. We've got some designers as well. We're going to have some playtest sessions. And then we actually got the game sign-up sheet right here where each participant and attendee can pick their first choice of what they want to play, followed by their second and third choice. So again, we're helping people sort of align with what games they want to play, and we're just really excited about the event. I do need to mention that right now we have a deadline for the group rate for the hotel. For those that haven't booked their reservation yet, the group rate will expire around October 10th. We're going to try to maybe extend it by a week. Usually those group rates can expire about a month out from the event, which is going to be, again, November 9th through the 12th. So if you can make it, we'd love to have you. Please stay at the hotel, and please make sure you get your reservation in at the hotel. Please do it this month, because I don't want to risk that you would lose that group discount rate at all. So again, I hope you can make it out for Compass Games Expo. It's less than 2 months away. I can't believe it, how time flies. So again, we've covered a lot today. We've covered the recent releases. We've covered some of the three of the new pre-orders. We've talked about the next 2 games coming, Command and Colors, Tricorn expansion, followed by Paper Wars, which is going to have the MacArthur game by Jack Green. We've introduced the new pre-order title tonight for World War II Commander series, starting with Battle of the Bulge. And again, we have some new artwork for Tinian, and I'll be getting the rules for Lebensraum posted as well. So again, I hope you're happy with what you saw tonight. And you better, I'm warning you right now, you guys better fasten your seatbelts. We've got a lot of pre-orders. I don't know how I'm going to do it. I have no idea how I'm going to do it, but I'm going to get through this month of August somehow with a lot of pre-order titles. It's going to be amazing, and you're going to watch me age before your eyes trying to keep track of all the pre-orders we have coming, all the gaming goodness coming to your tabletops. Because you know, when our games get announced, they're going to be shipping within a year for sure. That's our goal. So there you have it. So again, thanks for joining, everybody. Great to have you all on Facebook. Great to see. I saw some people join us late, so thanks so much. Vance Von Bory's also joining. Appreciate having him. Art Lupinacci joined as well. Sean Harris joined. Kevin. Again, too many people for me to go through. So look for the edited HD version of this broadcast along with the Battle of the Bulge game announcement. And I will look to see you hopefully next week. Have a good weekend, everybody. I will see you in a few days. Take care. Bye-bye.